What kind of reports have you received on Joe Valeno?
In terms of how he's played, he's, my understanding is he's done a good job over there. I think talking with Sean Horkoff a number of times throughout the season, Sean was pleased with his progress. I think it was a productive year for him.
Are you excited to potentially get a look in a game at a guy?
To be honest, I haven't even discussed that with Steve. So we'll see where everything's at with Joe. I think the most important thing was that through the course of the season he's developed, and if there's opportunity for more development, I think that's what's critical for him.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Ansar Khan from MLive.
Jeff, losing Nemeth and Merrill so far, what does that do as far as your defense, as far as, opening up maybe more ice time or opportunities for other players?
Well, it certainly does that. I mean, those are two guys that have been regulars in our lineup all season long. Two big guys that have been good players for us. Johnny did a great job for us this year. He's played the offside most of the year. So even though he's a left shot, he's it probably opens up opportunities for potentially for a right shot. But I thought he did an excellent job. He was an excellent pro and a real good example. Guys are going to get chances to play that haven't played much. Alex Biega did last night. Dennis Cholowski did last night. Gustav Lindstrom is up with us now, so there's potential for him to play as well. So guys will get opportunities, and then what they do with that is certainly up to them, and hopefully they jump through that window of opportunity. I thought Alex did a good job last night. I thought Dennis did a good job last night. So we'll see as we move forward.
And any updates on Fabry and Gagne? Did they skate today, or do you know their status for tomorrow?
Both skated. Fabs is out tomorrow. Gagne's undecided.
Okay. And anybody else injured besides obviously Ryan and Bert?
Yeah, I'd have more for you tomorrow. We have what I would call lots of bumps and bruises. I'm not sure it's anything that's going to keep somebody out, but I don't know that definitively till tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Max Boltman from The Athletic.
Hey, Jeff. Jordan Stahl's got his 1,000th game coming up here tomorrow night. Number one, what does that milestone mean in this league? And number two, how cool is it to have a brother game like that in a milestone game?
It's a big milestone. I've had the opportunity to coach a number of guys now that have reached that milestone while playing with us, and but it's a real big milestone. It's something that certainly is earned. I mean, 1,000 games this league is huge, and for anybody that's earned that, I think it's awesome. Jordan's been a really, really good player in this league for a long time. I think he's big time underrated, to be honest with you, around the league. In terms of maybe what the public perception is. He helps drive. He certainly is a big driver of this engine for their team. He's a great player. He's a great winner. He plays against the other team's best. He's big. He can play on the power play, play on the penalty kill, win faceoffs. He's had an excellent career, and I think it's really cool for him and Mark to be able to be in the same game and have that moment together. I don't know Jordan at all. I only know Mark. I don't know any of the brothers, but if he's anything like Mark, he's an excellent human being.
And then with Merrill, now that Montreal announced the trade, what is he going to bring to their club for a playoff run, and how will he help them in those big moments in the postseason?
Yeah, I thought whoever ended up trading for Johnny, if somebody did, I thought they were going to get a real good addition. And first off, I think he's a good player. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He can play a lot of different. You can play the left, play the right. He can kill penalties. He can play up and down your lineup a little bit. But probably most importantly for me is he's got confidence and moxie of a guy that you'd want in those big pressure situations in the playoffs. He's not going to be one bit afraid of the moment. He's going to seize the moment, and that's what I was most impressed with about Johnny. I really enjoyed having him. I knew him a long time ago in a different world when he was coming up as a youth player. But to really get to know him here, he was an excellent pro. I thought did an excellent job for us.
Thanks, Jeff.
Next, we'll go to Ted Kulfin from the Detroit News.
Jeff, like, so starting, let's say Tuesday or something, when you guys and every other team has been making moves and whatnot, how difficult is it to just assimilate everybody together? And it's almost like you guys and all these other teams have a new roster, a little bit of a new roster. Are you kind of putting together a team again in that respect, in a way? You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see what what it looks like. I do know what you mean, and I think you have guys that haven't necessarily been playing a lot, and that get thrust into the lineup, and so maybe some of their instincts within the system aren't what they'd be if they were doing it over and over and over again, like the guys that had been in there, and so it's different. Ultimately, you want to be able to play as a unit of five and play fast without having to think much and kind of react properly without having to overthink it. And that's hard to do sometimes when there's a bunch of new guys involved, whether it's a situation like ours where, we've lost some guys, or a situation like some of the playoff teams that are adding guys. It can be a difficult assimilation at times. And so, we'll, this year's a little different for us because we've had a number of guys around here on the taxi squad, and there has been enough guys up and down that I don't think it's, anything super fresh in terms of faces, but we'll try to get them up to speed as quick as possible.
You guys got a game tomorrow. I think there's a few games tomorrow. Let's say, like you mentioned it yesterday, you guys have had a couple duds over the last 5 or 6 years. I remember on that date. It seems like, that is kind of asking a lot of a team to go out there on trade deadline day. Would you almost prefer it that they don't schedule any games for anybody, obviously? It does seem like it could be something on a guy's, they could be thinking about whoa, what just happened and all these trades and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what, as I said earlier, I'm not sure that the deadline's going to have the flurry of activity that maybe past deadlines have had. So, that could really diminish that. But I personally, in a normal year, wouldn't schedule games on the deadline day. Obviously this year is really difficult because you can't lose any days based on the compression of the schedule. And, obviously with the stoppages, I don't think there's any choice in this year except to play. I think they try to minimize, games on Mondays period and also on the deadline day in the past years. But, this year I just don't think there's any choice.
What did you think of Grice last night? Another one of those type of, like, you said the word gutty or gritty last night. Do you think Grice's effort was kind of along those same lines too?
Yeah, it was.
Fifth one basically.
Yeah, I thought he stayed on it, and there was it was not a weird game. That's not the right word, but there was, moments of the game where we weren't good at all. Moments of the game where we were good. We gave up some chances, and I think he just stayed with it, and that's what he does really well. Is he plays to win the hockey game. He doesn't really worry a whole bunch about stats or a whole bunch about whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. He just wants to win the hockey game, and I'm glad we got him some run support. We haven't done that much this year.
Sounds good. So, Andy, thanks.
All right, that's all for us today. Thanks, everybody.